Welcome to Solo Pro Radio. It's the only resource for self-employed professionals to grow their business. I'm Barbara Saunders, the Solo Pro Success Coach, and it's my mission to help brilliant, creative solo pros go from freelance to floundering. No, we help them go from floundering to flourishing. I do that as the director of the International Association of Self-Employed Communication Professionals and as the founder of the Solo Pro Academy, where I have programs focused specifically on helping solo pros build a profitable, custom-fit business. Swing on by soloprosuccess.com and pick up your free Income Accelerator Success Kit. If you'd like to join us, zip on over to Solo Pro Radio on Facebook and like our page. You'll be able to ask questions, get to know our co-hosts, and even find resources to help you connect and grow. I want to jump into today's conversation today. We're going to be talking about business models over marketing. So many solo pros tend to really get overwhelmed with the concept of marketing. There's mobile marketing, there's networking, there's branding, there's all that social media. And when solo pros find themselves, struggling in this feast or famine cycle, which is so typical for a solo pro, especially if you've built your business around a dollars per hour paradigm, where you're providing generic services on a dollar per hour basis, you really do get caught in that feast or famine cycle. You market, you network to get clients, and then you tend up ending, and this is something a lot of business coaches and business professionals out there miss, is that you tend to end up competing for the lowest dollars, because when you're offering generic services like copywriting, coaching, graphic design, web design, something like that, even bookkeeping, the only thing the client really has to make a decision on is the price, how much you're charging per hour. Now, they don't really understand what they're going to get for that hour, especially if it's something esoteric like copywriting. How much copy, quote unquote, do you get for an hour at $50 an hour and $100 an hour? Clients really don't understand that, so they go for the lowest dollar per hour price. When you get yourself into that situation, you're detrimenting yourself. You're really, affecting yourself and your bottom line, and you're causing your own feast or famine, because you take work for the lowest price possible, and then you end up working on that, spending all your time doing that work. And I'll be honest with you, those clients who are looking for the lowest dollar per hour tend to need the most hand-holding. So I really, really encourage you to get out of that. That's why we're talking kind of a bit about business models, just a little bit today. So I want you to get away from that mentality of selling a service for a dollar per hour fee. And I know that's what we're taught. That's what the SBA taught. When I very first started my first business over 15 years ago, they really don't get it. They think more in a corporate mentality rather than a solo pro mentality. And as a solo pro, a solo-based professional, you can earn just as much as you could earn, or even more, anywhere else. But you need to think differently. Almost every solo pro I know starts to hyperventilate when they talk about marketing, because that's where traditional wisdom tells you, well, if you need more clients, you need to market. They don't really look at the fact that, no, what you need to do is upgrade your clients and change your business model. I absolutely loved, and I wanted to share this with you. The Wall Street Journal actually had an article come out recently, and this is the title of it: A Business Model is the Place to Start From, Not a Business Plan. And the author of this article was Steve Blank, in case you want to go look that up. It's also on my Solo Pro World on Scoop It, if you want to look at my newsletter and find that. A business model is the place to start from, not a business plan. And let me share you a little bit with you about what is in his article, and then I'm going to really dig into some Solo Pro business model info for you. But in his article, he talks about how the Small Business Administration especially teaches, they really hammer, you got to have a business plan before you go into business. And he did some surveys and some research into this, and he found that most startup businesses today spend 6 months or more gathering information for their business plan. That's what the SBA teaches. Now, the information they gather for that business plan centers around income, projected income. It's imaginary. It's a scenario that you make up in your mind, and if I do this, maybe I'll get this much money. There's really nothing solid there. There's really no concept of where does this money really going to come from? What do I have to do to get that money? Are people really buying that? That's not involved in a business, quote-unquote, business plan. All that is really interested in is, really, how big a loan do you want? To get to the bottom line here, the SBA wants you to take out a loan. And that's what the business plan is focused on. And a lot of startups who go this way spend 6-8 months working on this imaginary business plan, what their business is maybe going to look like. And I love that finally, because, I've been saying this for 15 years. Sometimes we have to be way out there in the boonies when we see the future the way it is. And it's great to when other people start to understand what we've been saying for so many years. Steve Blank here says, you know what? It's not, the business plan is irrelevant. It's the business model. What a business model is a collection of systems that function to produce a certain result. What you do is you just plug yourself, your skills, your personality, your branding into the business model, and you're up and running. And he did this research and compared the 6 to 8 months that startups spend but with a business plan, creating a business plan, compared to maybe 2 months a startup business spends in setting up their business model. And that 2 months really is, what do we do that's unique? What's unique about us? And who is our target market? And how can we deliver specific solutions to them? 2 months tops, and their business model is up and running. It's already been proven. The model has already been proven. All they do is plug themselves in. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. It's kind of my message that I take to a lot of Solo Pro conferences, is that it's not about more marketing. I want to get that message out because I know a lot of Solo Pros are just so stressed and overwhelmed with the concept of marketing. What if it didn't have to be that way? What if by just shifting your thinking a little bit, you could change the entire marketing issue? And the fact is that you can. It's not about marketing. It's about structure. Now, I know there's a lot of marketing experts out there who are cringing. Please don't cringe. Understand that I'm saying marketing is a piece of your business model. But the model must come first. You have to have the structure to hold the systems. A marketing system is a part of a business model. But if you don't have the model in place, or if you have the wrong model, if you're still using that dollar per hour business model, you're going to struggle and you're going to just stay in that feast or famine cycle, and it's going to be really frustrating. Traditionally, here's the thing. Solo pros build their business to look like the job that they left behind, doing a task or a generic service by trading dollars per hour. This structure has 2 major problems. Let's dig right in here. First, you compete with others selling the same generic task or service over price. The lowest price gets the project. And in that case, you both lose. We talked a little bit about this. The dollar per hour price that the client is focused on has nothing to do with your qualifications, how well you deliver the service, your experience, and your knowledge and your expertise that you can bring to the project. Your you're competing. You may be the very, very top of your field. You're competing with the very, very lowest in your field. They may have no experience. They may have just bought a software program. I know this is the case for a lot of graphic designers. And remember, I'm a master designer, so that's where I started out. That was very frustrating to be struggling with people as a person with a master's degree in graphic design and multimedia, competing with people who just bought a program and were competing for the same clients and undercutting my services by hundreds of dollars. So, you don't want to get into that struggle there. It's a no-win situation for everyone. The second major problem with this dollars per hour business model is that in a job situation, someone else is doing the long-range strategizing. They're getting the work and putting it in front of you. You just churn out the work that sits in front of you. Of course, until it runs out and you get laid off. That's the situation that drove most of us to self-employment in the first place. We don't want to go back there. We don't want to set that up for ourselves. The problem is nobody taught us how to do anything differently. And I will acknowledge that if you go to any business program at a community college, they're not going to teach you how about business models or what I'm going to talk to you today. You really have to talk to the people who are deep in the trenches and have been dealing with business in the 21st century for a while to really get this information. So I want to share this with you. Old school business wisdom was to concentrate on bringing in work to subcontract out. So if you do get a lot of work and you end up managing people, chasing clients, and navigating things like payroll, taxes, and workers' comp claims. Most solo pros go into business to do what they love and are best at. They don't want to manage people and taxes and all of that nonsense. So let's talk a little bit about a smarter way to structure your business. For 6 years, I'd been teaching at this business structure I'm going to talk to you about at my Solo Pro Academy. And for those that took it to heart, and some didn't, I'll be honest with you, some didn't, they're still struggling because it's a different way of thinking, and you have to get out of your own way. Let me share with you a little story. Some of the people in my association, the self-employed communication professionals, are really, really stuck in this job mentality, and it is a mindset. And understand that mindsets are like software that your brain runs on, and it colors everything that you do. If you don't update that software, it gets very buggy and it gets in your way, just like, bad software on your computer. Some of these people are just stuck in this poverty mentality that says, I can only do what I did in my job. I have to keep doing that because it's a job title. I'm a copywriter. That's all I can do is write copy. Or I'm a designer. That's all I can do. And they don't bring into it their entire background and life experience, which really does add to what they bring. It's a toolbox. You're setting up, as a solo pro, you're setting up a big toolbox, and everything, your knowledge, your experience, your expertise, your education, all of those things add to that toolbox. But these people just couldn't get past that concept, and they're still struggling today. Others really got it. It clicked. They got out of their own way, and it has paid off immensely. So let me talk a little bit about the structure of setting up a business model. I'm not going to go into real in-depth detail of different business models because there are several out there, and they can be put together like a puzzle piece. What you do is you build the business around you. This is the first thing that you do when you're looking at structuring your business differently. You need to build the business around you. Take inventory of all your skills and your passions, your experience, your education, what you're really, really good at, your personality traits. Mark where they intersect. they may not initially seem like they go together. Remember, you're not focusing on a job title, so you want to pay close attention to the environments and activities that work best for you. Some people really need to have other people around them while they're working. That's how they get their ideas, and that's how their creativity and their energy flows. Some people really get energy from having other people around. Other people are just the opposite. I have to admit, I'm the opposite. I work best in a quiet, place where I can hear myself think. I find big crowds of people just drain my energy. So those things are really important when you're setting up your business. It needs to be structured around you. You're a solo pro. Solo means one. That does not mean you have to do everything yourself. That doesn't mean that you can't work with other people. I partner all the time. That's how I built my 4 businesses, by partnering and joint venturing. But my personality is I do my best creating in a quiet solitude type environment. You want to think about, I talked a little bit about your toolkit. Take that inventory, all the different things that you do really well. Maybe you're a great moderator, where large brainstorming sessions are really good for you, and you're able to pull a lot of great ideas and then take those great ideas and either implement them or turn them into projects that you can partner with. Think of all those different separate ways. Maybe you enjoy fishing, and part of what you enjoy fishing is scouting out all the locations and those things. Those are tools that you can bring into your solo pro business and use them to differentiate you from your competition. The point here is that you don't want to set yourself up selling something generic, either a generic service or a generic product, where the client only looks at the fee for hour. The second point here is that you want to blend in with your ideal client. The idea is to stay within your zone so you can work with people that resonate with you. Nothing is more draining than trying to work with a client who just doesn't value what you bring. You don't see eye to eye. There's always contention. That's not a situation you will set up for yourself. Believe me, there are more clients out there. There are perfect clients out there for you. Here are some criteria for clients when you're looking for them. You must niche. As a solo pro, you cannot make it up on volume or numbers. You need to make it up on, like I say, it's quality over quantity. Here's some criteria. First, they must need and want what you're selling. They must understand that they need your solution. If they don't think they need your help, getting them to hire you at the price that you deserve is going to be an uphill struggle, so don't bother. Second criteria, they must know they need your help. And the third criteria is they must have the resources to invest in what you're selling, and this is key, they must have a history of buying. This was a mistake in my first business when I first started out. I offered what I did. I was very, very good at what I do. But I was offering it to people who really didn't understand that they needed it. And they really didn't have a history of paying for it. They would just use whoever would do something for them for free. Not a way to build your business. And just as a side note here, unfortunately, that's what the SBA kind of tells startups to do. Go volunteer your services somewhere or do pro bono work. Do not do that, because what that does, and I'm kind of giving you one of my 10 commandments here. Do not do free work. Do not do trades. Do not do pro bono. The reason being is because that's where your reputation begins to build. And that's, yes, they do refer people to you, but they refer people just like themselves who have no intention of paying for what you've done for them. So don't go there. Don't do that in your business. Just set that as a law of your business model right off. Another major point to structuring your business is you want to always, and this kind of feeds into what we were just talking about, position yourself as the pro. Show up as the expert at what you do. Create content, blog posts, white papers, case studies, reports, articles, videos, explaining aspects of what you do and the benefits to the clients. You always want to focus on the end results for the clients. They don't really understand your process. For example, we've been talking a little bit about copywriters. Clients really don't, they think, if I hire a copywriter, they just sit there and write copy, and maybe some do. But a good copywriter doesn't, that's the last 10% of what they do. The first 90% is they do research, they do market analysis, they get into the mind of your client, they identify clearly who and what your client is and what they're thinking. They really dig into your benefits. What good is this doing that client? Why should they bother buying what you're selling? So you need to really focus on the benefit, not the procedure. And you want to post links to your content all over your social media network. Remember, I said marketing is still important. It's just not the most important thing in your business. You want to remember to use the 80-20 rule, where you post 20% of your content and 80% is all about relationship building. And this is a must for your marketing. You don't really need to do much more than that if you just get your positioning out there. Another aspect of structuring your business differently, as opposed to selling generic services for dollars per hour, is bundling your offerings into packages. So many solo pros, especially those in the dollar per hour mentality, really resist this. They don't understand the importance of bundling your offerings into packages. And so I want to spend a second here and talk about this and really get you to understand how important this is. The argument is, oh, well, all my clients want something specific, and so I've got to customize for them. Well, the thing is that they really don't want something customized. What they want is a reliable, determined end result. They want a solution to their problem. Bundling makes the decision-making process much easier because your service are based on benefits and results, and it puts them in a nice, clean container so the client understands exactly what they're going to get. Let me use, since we've been talking, I do love copywriters, don't get me wrong, but there is a real clear example here of copywriters who are just working themselves to death and copywriters who are doing it right. Let me share an example with you now of a copywriter who's doing it right. First of all, she doesn't sell generic copy. She sells a benefit. She sells her results. And her results to her client is that she's going to get them in front of the right people with the right message to get them to do the right thing. And she's created packages, and one of her packages it's like a retainer type situation, and in that retainer for a certain block of time they get so many articles, so many blogs, and I can't remember the exact number, but I think it's 10 or 20 blog posts per month, and so many articles that get posted out on the web. So she's doing content marketing for them. And understand, content marketing is really valuable. But it's not just spewing out generic copy. Part of this woman's retainer is that she knows exactly who she's talking to. She gets the voice of the client down so that they're positioned as professionals and as experts, but there's also some relationship building going on there. Because what she delivers is so clear in this container, in these packages, she really doesn't have to sell them. The client gets what they're getting. When you try and sell something generic like copywriting, people really don't have a clue, how much do I get per hour type situation. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say to you. Really, really dig in and create packages for your clients. And here's a little tip for you. You want to save the access to you in your packages. You know, all packages don't have to include access to you, and they don't have to include you doing it for them. It might, your lowest price packages might really just include a template and some instructions so that they can do it for themselves. Remember, if they want to buy on price, they get less. You want that to be kind of the motto of your business. The more access and the more that you do for them needs to be your higher priced and highest priced packages. And then you have levels for them to opt into. Here's another piece of the structure of your business. You want to flesh out your profit centers to stabilize your income. Now, it's important to really understand what I'm saying. We hear a lot about quote-unquote multiple profit centers, but this is a little different. What I'm saying, profit centers. You can have multiple streams of income within each profit center, but you want to have different profit centers. And here's why. Let me explain. When the economy dips, like it has recently, businesses and individuals tend to buy less services. So if your only profit center is offering services, you're going to be in a world of hurt. But understand that when people stop buying services, many times they still need what that service offered, but they're willing to do it themselves, so they want to learn how to do it. So one of your profit centers might be coaching or teaching or training or some kind of educational profit center, so that when the economy dips and people are not buying services, you just switch your energy over to the profit center that is going to teach them how to do it themselves. You might also have another profit center where you just have, it totally doesn't involve you at all. There might be products that teach them how to do it, a home study kind of video program, or it might be just templates or tools where they have to go and do it themselves. They pay a lot less than if you were involved, but since that they're not willing to pay more, you still have that profit center. Something is still coming in for you. So you want to set your business up so it's not dependent on you 100% of the time to earn income. This is how you make your solo pro business scalable, from very, very small to having hundreds and hundreds of clients. This is the piece that old school traditional self-employed business models miss. Set up your business so it can function without you for a period of time. And I really go deeply into the nuts and bolts on this in my new course that's coming out shortly. It's called the Perpetual Revenue System. But in a nutshell, you repurpose all that juicy content that you created into products. And can you see how this flows naturally from setting yourself up as a professional, as a positioning yourself as an expert? You now are creating content, that you're doing content marketing, and what you're selling is your content. Now, I'm not saying give away your most valuable commodity. You're just showing people why they should do things, why they should be following you, but you always want them to come back to you to get the details. And finally, you want to create visibility for yourself and your products. And there's an interesting kind of mindset around here too. Marketing, we started this conversation talking about marketing versus models. Many times marketing is perceived as just pushing your products or your services out there. hire me, buy this, do that. And a lot of solo pros, this is where they fall down. Yes, you need to be creating relationships. That's paramount. We talked a little bit about positioning, but I want to make sure that we really cover this. You want to, as a solo pro, set yourself up as the leader, as the expert at what you do, and as a thought leader. Clients today, people today, this is what social networking and social marketing is really all about. People are looking for a leader, someone that they can trust, that they can follow, someone who they can get advice from. This is who you want to set yourself up. You want to focus specifically on what you can deliver, and your message will be more potent. So what makes you different? Let me give you an example. I know one business coach who her son has the ADD problem. And what she's noticed as he's grown, and he's in college now, he really has to have his day structured and his environment structured in a specific way. And if that structure goes wonky, he can't concentrate, and he gets a lot less done. And so she's brought that into her business coaching, and she's more of a organizer, and she comes into home offices and helps clients set up their systems, set up their processes, set up their filing systems, set up their environments. And so she focuses specifically on clients who struggle with ADD. This is how she sets herself apart. There are a lot of organizers out there. There are a lot of business system experts out there, but she's very different because she focuses specifically on people who deal with ADD. A lot of creatives have this struggle where, everything's a shiny object and they just can't get anything accomplished. This is how this woman sets herself up. All of her content that goes out there is focused specifically on how do you set up your environment with this structure so that you can function and get things done. So you want to create visibility and set yourself up as a leader in your specific niche. Okay? Just want to give you a few more tips before we end today. I want you to aim for the top. If you remember, I said you want to go for quality, not quantity. And in general, the clients who are more worried about your dollar per hour price are the ones who are going to be the most trouble. I promise you. I've been there. They need hand-holding. They try to get more scope than originally was planned, and they don't really understand the value of what you're offering them. They tend to not listen to you. They just are looking at the dollars per hour. So you want to aim for the top. You want to aim for the very top of your target market. Position yourself and your prices to be on the higher end. And here's the thing. When you charge higher prices and you stick to it and you have confidence in what you do, you tend to attract the clients who respect that and who understand this is what a professional behaves like. When you focus on providing your services at the very lowest price, you're kind of drawing in the people who will take advantage of that. So get that firmly in your mind. It's easier to sell and deliver one large package than several tiny ones or services by the hour. And what I mean by that, let's look back at my copywriter client who set up some retainer programs and packages for herself. Now, those retainers are, I think her high-end package is about $4,000 for a retainer. She only needs one client for $4,000, as opposed to, other copywriters who are selling so many, say $50 an hour. How many hours are they going to have to work to earn $4,000? And how many clients are they going to have to catch, and how many are they going to have to chase, and how much behind the scenes hand-holding are they going to have to do? I can tell you a lot. And that's why so many solo pros are frazzled. Whereas this brilliant copywriter is selling a retainer package, one for $4,000. They have one client who really understands their value, and she can really dig in and focus on them. She only needs one or two of them a month, and she's a happy camper. So think about it that way. Secondly, avoid customizing. You want to save your customizing for your highest price packages. That's what people are paying for. When you allow customizing in your lower price packages, that's what leads to scope creep. And scope creep, if you're unfamiliar with that term, is when, clients keep saying, well, just one more thing, or this is just a really tiny thing, so we shouldn't have to charge me for it. Just do this or that or the other. The client doesn't understand how much work goes into what you do, and they don't value what you do. I mean, let's just be honest and state it there. They don't value what you do, so they just try to keep taking advantage of you. So you want to avoid that kind of customizing. You want to make your clients understand that when you customize, that's the high end. I mean, really, isn't that in every other field? When you go to a car company and you keep adding on customization, doesn't it add to the price? I mean, come on. You can do this. And secondly, we kind of touched on this a little bit. Think about partnering to expand your range and your reach. Partner with other solo pros to fill in the gaps where you are weaker in. And like I said, this is how I've built my businesses over the years. I partner with other business coaches and consultants. I partner with strategic people who are great with marketing. I partner with technical people who can come in and teach my people how to set their websites up the way they want them to be, to fit the business models that I'm teaching them. Stop thinking about competition and think more about how can we collaborate. The 21st century business model is all about collaboration. Think of it as we're all a bunch of modular little pieces of puzzles. And the more puzzle pieces we bring together, the more value we can offer, the more we make, and the more of our clients we can serve. So I want you to kind of think about a little bit, how can you partner this month? What would be a fun way to partner? Here's an easy, quick way to jump into the partnering field. Let's say you want to give a talk, and your talk might be just around your narrow, tiny niche of what you are really, really good at. It can be just a 30-minute talk. Who can you partner with to bring some extra meat to that topic? And who shares your target market? Here's the thing. They're going to bring their following, their people, and you're going to bring your following and your people. So both of you will get added exposure. Just for both of you do maybe a 15 to 30-minute talk. That's a nice lunch and learn, at midday for a group, a networking group. You're going to get more exposure, you'll get more clients, and you're positioning yourself with other experts. And we are known by the company we keep. So think about that. I'm going to give you a little challenge to rethink your business model. Like I said, I do have a new product coming out in April called the Perpetual Revenue System, where I'm going to really dig deeply into different business models and how to set up profit centers. So if you're interested in that, zip on over to soloprosuccess.com and get on my newsletter. You'll also get an Income Accelerator Success Kit, which is kind of cool. There's a book on how to attract and engage higher paying clients. That's kind of what we're talking a little bit about here, aiming for the top of the heap. And you'll also get a video on the 3 secrets, the 3 essential secrets that you need to have to charge what you're worth. So I'm going to end today's show, and I want you to remember you can zip on over to Solo Pro Radio on Facebook and like our page, or you can visit us on soloproradio.com to find out more information. If you've got questions or there's a topic that you'd like to be sure that we address for you here, let us know. So you can send me an email, or you can zip me on Facebook, and I will respond. So for now, This is Barbara Saunders, the Solo Pro Success Coach on Solo Pro Radio, and I want to say bye-bye for now.